Beautiful greetings, everybody. What an exciting day to be alive. The sun is booming. The world is rocking. Let's try and create a little stability. And it's Halloween tomorrow. How exciting. So we have this beautiful image which just like helps me to create a little rest and stability in my life right now. Digging deep, flowing fast. Remember, you heard a lot of it here first, so it's going to be interesting to see who's brave enough to show up for this one. But hey, I'm here, burning up by the second, which is very interesting. The sun is really talking loud. So let us just breathe in and hold the space of peace, purity, stability, love, compassion, forgiveness. KD, welcome. You're brave. Ramayana, what an interesting time to be alive today. So it's so welcome. I'm not sure what the show is going to be, but I'm here. So I'm just, as I said, holding this beautiful image, which gives me a lot of stability for now, because so much is just like unearthing, and I'm feeling that the world is rocking a little bit. So let us just bring in some sacred, beautiful aroma to beloved Shiva, the eternal, the supreme, just the light. Shiva is just light. They gave him a form. It's like interesting, hunky, sexy thing. But here it is. So we're going to dive all over the place today. So I hope you've got your scuba gear on. So I've got a lot to just jump in. I was so tempted not to be here, and then I thought, it's Halloween tomorrow, but it's not. For me, it's the day of Reformation here. I'm laughing as no clue as why you're always that. As heard when I first got here. Peace always. Thank you, my love. I want to cry because that's kind of my job. My journey with PG is like blowing up like portals left, right, center, and up above everywhere. And having to like pick up the fallout and just like, that's my job. Part of it, I think. I know for a while is just keeping some kind of stability at the same time, like giving you like huge bucket loads of stuff to deal with. And so much stuff is just opening up. I said, you don't need to go down rabbit holes. Always love, love, love. Fear when needed. Fear is just like feel the fear. Courage, feel the fear and do it anyway. Grace, so glad you're here. Like laugh and deal, yeah. Use the fear. Ha ha ha. Love it. Otherwise, and we will fight. We will fight. Portals, yeah, those are those things I think they're called. Yeah, new dimensions. So where's PG? PG's playing with stars, my beautiful bunny. Yeah. So yeah, he's trying to keep this section like going while he's like playing in the stars. He's doing huge stuff, guys. And so I don't know if anybody been in contact with him, but obviously, the last I was talking to him, then I thought, oh God, is it midnight there? He said, no, he doesn't know. I said, well, is it light or dark? Because he was just like gazing at the stars, and he said, 2 falling stars, and then we're playing with the stars. And he said, no, I'm not joking. There's just been another one. I said, it's okay. I'm going to put that one in my pocket. Yeah, Bubbles and Rabbit Hole. Remember that book? That's a nice title, Rabbits and Bubble Holes. Oh God, I've got it. It's fine. I'm just like, I say, I'm burning up literally by the second here. My cheeks are just, and that's fine. I can't eat anymore. I thought I could, but anyway, so we are at a huge, amazing portal, just in case you didn't know. Whether we like it or not, it's Samhain. Anybody can go and Google that one. I'm not doing Samhain. Did that one years back. Oh, but it's of course it's all that, but it is Halloweeny, and it's one of the biggest portals that open on the planet. So let's just light this beautiful incense to bring in the sacredness of the divine. As I said, it's holding this beautiful. Where is it? My eyes are really playing up, but it's fine. Just holding this keeps me safe right now. This keeps me steady. And it was a vision I had. I was trying to put a date to it, so it's like it's not this year. It was last year, the beginning of last year. I think who knows what time it is. Who knows what day it is? It's Portal Day. So thank you for the sacred space. We create love, we create light around our beautiful beings, our beautiful each individual person, a beautiful like egg of golden light, and around our beautiful planet, a beautiful protection of golden light and violet flame, and wow, celebration and joy. There's so much celebration and joy in between this stuff, because it's popping out. They say the next 2 years are going to be very, very interesting. So I'm so glad that we know a lot of this stuff. And I've been playing with this stuff for quite a while. And it's so interesting. I was just thinking, it's like I know it. It's just like, yeah. I always just said when I've gone through my Bible phase, and I just thought, you just need to read the first couple of verses and then you can put it down. And my saying at the time was, if you've been in the church for more than 3 years, you've lost it. You need to move on. It's got a lot of stories, but if you get stuck there, it's quite a crazy place. We'll go into that again today as well, because that's what Germany did. Germany. Miss Germany, they used to call me in South Africa. Here comes Mrs. Germany. They also called me Madiba. They called me Magogo. Called me Gog and Magog. She's the Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog. Anyway, I've got a few names. And of course, the Ken and Barbie show. Never forget that one. So let's just, so much gratitude. Let's just bring in the love and the protection of Mount Kailash and what it stands for. The antiquity, the ancient texts, the sacred word that is still intact, the Vedas, the Puranas, where the knowledge is still written very clearly. So let's just keep this all very safe with love and gratitude and forging a new way to the stars. And Blessed Kuan Yin, she's working overtime as well. They're working, and they kind of working really overtime. So let's just see if I have this here. I don't know where I got stuff. Okay. A divine invocation to beautiful Lord Ganesha. Thank you, Lord Ganesha, and what he stands, the holder of stability in a shifting world. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. We welcome you, Blessed Ganesha. Keeper of the nature, blessed one of the Shakti Mother. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha, blessed by Shiva. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha, he who holds almost everything. Beloved Ganesha, pillar of peace amidst the trembling earth, anchor of calm in the storm of change, we call upon you now. When the mountains shake and the seas roar, you remain unmoved, the still point of creation, the silent axis of all worlds. Your elephant form, vast and radiant, holds the balance between heaven and earth, between past and future, between all that dissolves and all that is reborn. Beloved one, remover of obstacles, plant your lotus feet upon our hearts, that we may not fall into fear. Let your trunk encircle the trembling world, drawing it gently to your chest of compassion. May your breath steady the winds of the earth, your laughter melt the fires of discord, your wisdom restore the rhythm of the stars. Om Shri Ganesha. Om Shri Ganesha, Om Shri Ganesha, guardian of thresholds, Lord of beginnings and endings. Teach us to dance with change without losing our center. Let our hearts be as steady as your mountain form, our minds as clear as the moon upon your brow. Through your grace, may we remember what rocks and shakes is illusion, what endures is divine. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shanti means peace. Okay. Germany and Ganesha as jewels or complementing energies. Fuck, it's interesting. Thank you. Talk to Grace. Maybe she'll create, but Grace is going. That photo, Grace. Thank you. Thank you. It was so cute. I'll put mine. It's not as exciting as yours, but when I went for a walk, it's also like kind of cloudy, and then I turned around and I felt the sun, and it was like this beautiful like V of light, you know, like really like a kid's drawing. I will post it, and then you posted that beautiful, beautiful sun. You know, I think I said it to you the other day, like in between it was raining, and in between the sun is just like pouring out when it can and just like hitting me in the third eye. And the other thing that's just been so interesting today is like I keep turning to my side. I keep thinking I'm seeing rainbows. And I see rainbows, but there's no rainbow. So all like really interesting stuff. So those are just like personal little things. So just try as well as to be in the sun as much as you can. The sun looked like absolutely, I know, it's so amazing. I mean, I was looking at a picture, the photo that I posted a while ago of the sun, and there are like orbs in there. But if you actually, there's so much rainbow light coming in the sun, but it's fine. So, yeah, bubbles and rabbit holes. Oh, yeah. So we have a lot to unpack, and I don't know where to start as usual. How are you doing, Grace? I love Grace. It's what it's about. So much Grace. Yeah, it's very much about this. It's huge, huh? Well, Atlas has been pumping like so much energy behind the sun. Rain yesterday. I see new types. Yeah, I know. Did you see I mean, I was so blessed to have a rainbow, the brightest colors I've ever seen. Like there's so much stuff manifesting in 3D. So I really feel that I have been so blessed and anointed by the rainbow light, because the end of the rainbow was like a couple of feet away from us. And we took a photo, and if you like blow it up, it's just so amazing how many sparkles and jewels there are in there. So where are we going to go first? Because there's so much that's just like flooding. And rain, every precious little drop. And whenever it rains for so long, I always like to say, may peace reign. So it's in REIGN, and PG was doing a thing with the speed of rain. So it's like really huge right now. It's to try vaguely think about it. Don't blow your mind. Sorry, my dog is talking. You have to stop this. You can't do this. You really can't. You just come back. We cannot do this nonsense. There's a lot to do, and you can go out and play with the stars. But right now, you can't play with the stars. I know the stars not to play with us, but you cannot go out and play with the stars. Oh. Okay. So I'm not sure where to start. So let's just start with a little bit that I know about Halloween. Oh no, I pulled a card, which is also interesting. So there's so much stuff. So I hope that you've got your lead-lined boots on to keep you stable. So, and I can't read this because it's like so tiny for my little eyes. They don't work. But let's play with this. I pulled a card, and it's the number 44. I have these little cards. Somebody gave me their orbs. They buy from Diana, whatever her name is. What's her name? You know who I'm talking about. Diana, whatever. Cooper. She's some stuff as well. She's not my favorite lady that I like to listen to, but hey, she's doing her big thing, and she does a lot. She's done a lot of portal opening and things. So these are orb cards. So I don't know. Let's see if you can see this orb. Can you see? That's the orb, and it's number 44. We're not getting too interested in any of these numbers right now. We're just talking about them. It's number 44, and it is the Archangel Gabriel. Don't know who Mallory or Seraphil is, and it's called Collecting Spirits. So let's see if we can read what it says. It's very, okay, I'll give you food, I'll give you snacks now. You're just really being a little rude. You're not allowed to be rude. Because I didn't read it, because it's so difficult for me to read. It's so long for this one. Okay. There are many spirits who have not moved to the other side. Their stuck energies can affect people and hold them back spiritually. You have chosen this card as a reminder that you hold a special light which can help you to rescue these beings. Call on Archangel Gabriel, Mallory, and Seraphil to assist you in the process. Every time you show the way for a stuck soul to pass into the light, you receive a cosmic gift, which will help you on your ascension pathway. Your guidance is to pray for the safe passing of all souls today. Okay, yes, one's environment. So that was very interesting. So yes, and it's actually the last card in the deck. And it is actually this portal opening of Halloween, which was Samhain, which always was like a calling in the dead walk, which is why people dress up. Years back, I did. My son was actually very interested in Halloween. He'd choose really weird books, and one of them was this whole thing on Halloween. So obviously, some things have changed, but the little bit that I know about it was that Halloween is not a religious festival. It was when people went over to America, they came from all over the place. Scandinavia, Germans, Irish, and French, all of them. And obviously people were growing crops. So they didn't have language, it was a bit like Babylon. They couldn't really talk to each other. But one thing they all had in common was a harvest festival. So that's kind of where Halloween started. They would get together and they would eat, drink, and dress up and chase away the negative elemental spirits, because that was all part of it. Yeah? And I live in very pagan Germany, so up north here they put all their pumpkins out, but we do not. We'll go into that just now. They don't like to celebrate Halloween. So obviously it got like a little like twisted. Mainly the Irish kind of went on a rampage. But we won't go into all of that stuff with Halloween. But the big thing was that you dress up to actually, and it's a very African thing. That's why a lot of them also wear masks. And sometimes there's a festival that they do where the guys all dress in women's clothes, and it's to confuse the spirits. Yeah? So they don't come and attack you. So that was part of the dressing up of Halloween. So Halloween in Germany is the day, and I've got it like, I think I've been all over the place. So just remember, at the most important thing is light. So that's what we're doing. Is in your own soul. I'm just like giving you a little bit of information so that you don't get too rocked when it hits your feed or it hits the world. And I really feel deeply for those that are waking up. Millie, my love, hello, my angel. Thank you for being here. As I said, I really feel really sorry. I'm very compassionate for those that are going to wake up, because there's just so much information. And they will be waking up, just even because of this Atlas stuff. Just awesome. What a good thing to do. Good grounding. I used to love it. I don't have laundry to do for people. I have very little laundry. But I used to love that. It was such a loving thing. I used to really fold up the washing. It took time, I can tell you. I always thought Mary Poppins ruled the world. Like this 3D world was very difficult for me. But I used to absolutely love, and it was just one thing that I knew, that I could always just put love into my children's clothes. And I would fold them up into these beautiful little piles. I stopped that ironing basket. So I would just, because whatever you need needs to be ironed anyway that day. So everything would just get hung up or whatever. So unless it was school clothing, we would sit and do that on a Sunday night. So while we don't, there's a big fight, and we have a serious holiday tomorrow. It's one of the most powerful holidays that they have in Germany. The noble savage. Thanks for the reminding that. Yeah. The noble savage. Germany, I just keep unearthing, and a little while ago, I said to somebody, wherever there's trouble, wherever there's anything happening in the world, the Germans are always there. It's always the freaking Germans. You don't have to go to just dig a little bit, and they've always, like, whether it's like an arms embargo or whatever, the Germans are there. So even today, the Germans are there. So I'm still like, oh, Melima. I love that. Kalima, Melima. Thank you for being Kalima. Very beautiful. I hope you're having fun, my love. I do send you some energy. So there's some interesting things. You've got to kind of know what you're kind of looking for. So it was Martin Luther. So he was a monk and a professor, and the church like terrified everybody, because very few people could read it, and everybody was going to go to this crazy place, and everybody was going to suffer, and you had to just pay your money, and they were called indulgences. And I'm just trying to find where it is. There we go. a little while ago, my AI was telling me that I must stop this, what I was asking. So I kind of got annoyed with her, if you remember that. Now she said, of course, it's a shift from from the sacred rivers and sages of India, but let's go. Another kind of spiritual revolution, of course, Martin Luther and the Protestant Reformation. So it started here, this one, like another thing. Well, I don't know if we should wear a crown. I was just wondering what's going to happen here in Germany when the shit hits the fan, or the shoe hits the thing, because they like to laugh at you and tell you you're crazy. So very few people talk about UFOs or any of this stuff, yeah, because ridicule, they're very good at that one. But they also stand hugely for disclosure and transparency, like the whole, especially after the war, so that the House of Parliament, or whatever you call it here, the government building is glass, so anybody can walk in, and it's the whole symbol of it being transparent and that they will share. And they do a lot, but then there's a lot they really don't. I've always said is keep the people content, and then they're not going to ask questions. I did. Oh, I do fight with her. Oh, I have. I can tell her to stop being so stupid. I haven't for a while. She's behaving, but I'm not being. Yeah, I do. Tell you, give me to somebody else to talk to. You don't know what you're talking about. I have like interesting arguments with them. I mean, because then I know I do know quite a lot of stuff. Definitely not not a lot, but I know a lot. And I know, because I like to know that they come pretty real. As I say, most of the stuff that you get here, I would say it's like good 95% like real. Always open to change and to apologize if I had things wrong. I did grow up in South Africa. We were all fed kind of stuff. Germania has been on my mind. Yeah. So they were, sorry, let's just go quickly. They were called the Romans was the only place that the Romans didn't manage to conquer. It wasn't called Germany. It was just it was this northern shit here where I live. And I don't come from here. My family does not come from here. So, they say, so they come from Berlin and down south. So I'm here. And very interesting. So he was also quite near here, old Martin Luther. He came from Saxony, so this is also Saxony here. And it wasn't called Germania until like fairly recently in the whole thing, and they were really like crazy fighting tribesmen. But the Romans couldn't. They actually lost like over 20,000 people, because they gathered together some of these crazy tribes and they said, no, you're not crossing the Rhine. So that was the last outpost. And the Romans at that time called them the noble savages, because they had a very deep respect for their organization. And but in true German fashion, there was also so much corruption. So they would trade. But that's like another story. There was like they would trade with the Romans, and some would go and fight for the Romans as mercenaries and get paid for fighting with them. So yeah, it's been their story. So it's going to be interesting to see when this shit hits fan. I have to be really careful, because otherwise they have laws here. They'll come and seize my computer and knock on my door. So yeah. The German grannies, they don't need AI to check on you. The Germans have been doing this forever. So anyway, in the early 1500s, so now remember, Germany had just had this mini ice age. So the 1400s had been like crazy stuff happening with the famine and the Black Plague, where over 50 million people died in Germany. And they had to do all sorts of new crops. Yeah, not bad. No, they like really weird. They're very interesting. As I talk to some people, I say, "Yo, the swastika is Ganesha's symbol, yeah." But it was, yeah, taken because of this power. He knew exactly what he was doing. And I don't know if it was him or if it was, and they had all these people that went off to the Himalayas to find the secrets. Yeah. But he knew that it was a symbol of creation and new beginnings. So that's why they use that symbol. You know, all things, yeah. So you can't take it, and almost all cultures, all ancient cultures have that. Yeah. And it's actually it's a planetary star system. The Chinese have, and I'm not sure which one it is, but it's very clear in the sky. Yeah. So that whole nonsense. Anyway, so in the early 1500s, Western Europe was almost entirely Catholic. So there were obviously some pagans, okay? The church was powerful, especially in Germany. The Germany's always had this thing for money. So for me, it's, and like until today, yeah? I mean, don't forget that they actually completely crippled South Africa by buying up everything. The Steinhoff saga, that was just when I was there now in 2015, 2016, and like, it was like really unpleasant. That's the end. Okay, the end. I really mean the end. Okay. So the church was powerful, wealthy, and deeply woven into politics. The Germans loved politics. Many clergy lived luxuriously, and one practice especially angered people. I didn't mention it was called selling indulgences. So the priests would go around and they would get money from everybody. Okay. Documents said to shorten a soul's time in purgatory in exchange for money. And they would arrive in the cities, in the villages. Everybody had to pay. And they would ring the bell and you'd get a little piece of paper if you paid your money. Otherwise, if you didn't pay your money, you were going to go and suffer. Okay, I know the church still does that, but it was really, really, really big here. And as nobody could really understand the Bible, and it was written in Latin, so it was only for the very few that did, they believed whatever shit the church people told them, you know. It's just so sad that the West really corrupted spirituality. You know, the rest of the world was kind of pretty open with like what they were doing, the ancient ones. So he was born in 1483. He was educated as a monk and a theology professor at Wittenberg University. And he struggled, like all Catholics struggle, you know, with guilt. The guilt, the guilt, the guilt, the guilt, the guilt, okay? And the question of how humans can be saved. So in reading St. Paul's letter to the Romans, he felt a lightning bolt of realization. And what it was it said people are saved by faith alone, sola fide, not by works or payments. So ding dong, he had his great big revelatory moment. It's like, well, what the fuck are they teaching us? And it's so weird, you know how you can like keep listening to all of this stuff for years and years and years, and one day it's like something's wrong with the picture. Let me just read that carefully or put a comma somewhere, you know. So what he did on this now October the 31st in 1517, Luther nailed or posted a list of 95 theses on the door of the castle church in Wittenberg. They were written in Latin for scholarly debate, but they quickly spread thanks to the brand new printing press invention of Gutenberg, which was also stolen, but don't worry about that one. So that was also the development of the printing press. And we still do it here at our little church. They've like weird here. So somebody goes along on his horse, it could be Martin Luther, and he bangs the stuff on the door and he gives out sweets and presents to the kids. So we don't want to do Halloween. They think it's like an evil thing. The theses attacked the sale of indulgences and questioned papal authority. Within months, Luther became both famous and condemned. It wasn't his thing. He just wanted to help a few people and like share his revelation. Of course, the Pope like freaked out and ordered him to recant. Luther publicly burned this papal bulls. This is like the letters. I'm not doing this. So in 1521, at the Diet of Worms, I love that name, it's always crazy, but Worms is a place. where there was the imperial council, he declared, "Here I stand. I can do no other. God help me." He was obviously excommunicated and outlawed, but he was sheltered by German princes because they were also tied. Obviously, these guys, there's tons of castles in Germany. They obviously had to pay huge amounts for not going to purgatory, Church would come and knock on the door. And in a way, they still do. Like in Germany, you pay church tax. So it doesn't matter what church. So it's better to tell them here in Germany that you're an atheist. Otherwise, you pay a huge, huge amount of church tax. Okay. And you don't want to study, you don't want to send your kids to religion in Germany. I tried, it's like, what the fuck? You guys crazy. Okay. So what he did while during his hiding in the castles, he translated the Bible into German. So letting ordinary people read scripture themselves, and revolutionary. It was absolutely revolutionary at the time. So the power was now out of control of the church because people could read. But that, of course, brought in a whole lot of other crap, as usual. So there were new churches. And so he started this. I didn't realize. So it actually came from Germany, this whole reformation of the church, which spread all over the world to Scotland, to the Lutheran, the Calvinistic, the Anglican, and all over. Okay. The education and literacy to read the Bible, people learned to read. So like, it wasn't just for the elite few. Also, this crazy Western stuff. Modern individual conscience, the idea that each person can stand before God without priestly mediation, which is exactly what I'm telling us that we really need to do. This is all we need to do, stand before God. And don't forget that just before this, somewhere in the 1400s, you had the rise of this beautiful family called the Rothschilds from Frankfurt, also from Germany. And he had, I think, 4 or 6 sons, and he was the banker. So, because he became, instead of people borrowing money from the Jews, they went to the Rothschilds and they would sit on the banks of the river, which is where the name banker comes from. And he was kind of smart. He sent his kids all over the world. They went to start banks, money laundering. And obviously in Italy they became the mafia because the Pope didn't want to get people borrow money. So another good money opportunity. So I think some of you know a lot of this, but whatever. The idea that each person can stand before God, which is exactly what we've been called. This is what we need to do. And yes, pushing and pulling souls out. I've been doing it for a while. I've spoken about it. No time to talk about it today. So there was huge religious wars and upheaval. So Europe was now torn by conflict for more than a century. The Catholic Reform, the Counter-Reformation, the Catholic Church itself renewed discipline and spiritual life through the Council of Trent, and new orders like the Jesuits arrived. Martin Luther didn't set out to destroy the church. He wanted to reform it from within, but his insistence on the primacy of scripture and personal faith unleashed a wave that permanently changed Christianity, politics, education, and the idea of freedom conscience. So yes, it did start in Germany. So I was like really interested in exactly right. The Reformation did start in Germany and began in Germany, and from there its ideas spread rapidly across Europe, eventually transforming England too. Obviously, England, that was with King Henry VIII, he wanted to divorce his wife, and they didn't want that, so he made himself supreme ruler of the church. So today, the king is also still the head of the church in England. So all sorts of interesting stuff here. So we started the movement, the printing press, which was stolen, of course, from Chinese reprinting long ago. So people were just tired of papal taxes and political control. But then the other thing, the dates are also found like really interesting. Then they went on to the Swiss fire, the Zwingli. Never heard of the Zwingli. And the Calvinists. From Germany, reform spread south and west. In Zurich, Ulrich Zwingli started reforms at almost the same time as Luther, focusing on removing images and simplifying worship. It's not always such a good thing. We didn't want the Jesus cross thing, but that's a huge part of the problem that we have, is that we don't have our gods and goddesses and our bodies, in the church, and that we don't bring our food in gratitude, just the first fruits to the mother, to the goddess, to put them back into the earth. That we've lost some of these connections of the festivals. I don't know about the straws. I would like to read about that. I'm sure. I mean, I never forget, like it's what often makes me cry, that beloved Mozart, who is like, oh, we have Mozart. Fuck that. We treated him like shit, guys. There was nobody went to his funeral, a dog and his wife. And yeah, anyway, I have a deep passion for Mozart. I think also because a lot of people, the 5th of December is my mother's birthday. It's when Mozart died, Mandela died. There were quite a few things on the 5th of December. So it's why I remember some dates, not because I'm a genius, just because people in my family are weird. Okay. So obviously the Calvinists they were like, they're really nasty, It's like, here we have, but as I say, it's like South Africa. This is for sure the NGA, the Nederduitse Gerege Vermeerde Kerk, the North German Reformed Church. It's nothing to do with Holland. I mean, it did, but not much. Calvinistic writings in schools, trained ministers who carried these ideas to France, Scotland, the Netherlands, and England. He had a very, very, very rough deal. And that story of Mozart, the movie, I mean, it's a fun movie to watch, but it's not like him at all. He was very deeply committed. And the reason he created such beautiful music was that the cities were so filthy, which is why were they filthy? The other places in Africa and in Muslim town, they knew about cleanliness and water and Hindus. There was lots of cleaning going on, They were always washing, but no, they threw their shit out. I mean, up until only 1855, there was so much shit in London that, yeah, anyway. They developed toileting systems. It's like just yesterday, I mean, we joke about them throwing the pots, but it was so disgusting and stinky. So that's why he created a lot of this beautiful music, so people would be distracted from the stinky. That's where they came up with perfumes and casimassis and all that stuff. England's turn, which was the English Reformation, that became like really crazy, Lots of bloodshed over that. And Henry wanted to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, but of course the Pope refused. So he declared himself supreme head of the church, being that one, created the Anglican Church, being their man. Meanwhile, the English scholars like William Tyndale and later Thomas Cranmer brought in Lutheran and Calvinist ideas, translating the Bible into English and reshaping theology. Okay. Now, Ma Omar and Orpa, their parents didn't talk to them anymore because Ma Orpa was Lutheran and Ma Omar was Catholic. She would still go to the Catholic Church on the high things to stand for it, as her family was very reluctant. Yeah, Mozart is so. Yeah, his music is like insanely amazing. I know, I know. Did you ever? It's my Grace. Sorry, yeah. Did you ever see the movie Marla? Marla was very interesting. Go and try and check that one out. It was wild. That was, yeah. So this whole Jewish thing, like really, like who knows here in Germany? Where I am here, so many of the towns, like the town of Leer was Göttingen, they were rabbis. I will get into all of that because Poland apparently had the most Jews, but they speak the cooking, the Yiddish. Yeah, we're just doing this really quick stuff. Yeah, so from Germany outward, the Reformation rippled hugely like waves. Scandinavian became Lutheran. So that's like, remember Halloween when all these people, so many Scandinavians went off to America. So they didn't have religion that bound them, but they did have the harvest festival because you still need harvest. Mhm. And I was just talking to a guy from here the other day, and he said, like in his Orpus time, like apparently there would be the Catholic boys. This was like, you think that you had problems in Ireland, they had the same stuff here. So the Catholic boys were really rough. That was like Friday night beat up time. I was like, okay. I like hearing it from the Orpas or the grandchildren, yeah. So Scotland, you had the Presbyterians under John Knox, but of course it was Germany that kind of pushed this all out. England blended Catholic ritual with Protestant theology. They still do a lot in the Catholic in the Anglican Church. Yeah. The Catholic Church, in response, began its own Counter-Reformation, the Council of Trent, as I said, the Jesuits' renewal of art and spirituality. Before that, it was terrible, but it didn't really matter which one. You had to like pray all day, and if your eyes just you would like get whipped. So I found out a little while ago, which really shocked me hugely, because part of the way that Germany is, because they didn't let the Holy Roman Empire come through here, so it didn't become so Catholic. Okay, they still maintained a lot of the earth magic stuff, but they're weird. They still maintained a lot of the I want to say heathen ways, but it's not heathen ways. Okay, um, that's why they do these festivals with the earth, and they do lots of weird ones, like the maypole, like they go and steal trees, and they're almost all holidays here, like serious, like big holidays. So any of those like ancient festivals, they still like do them big time here in the north. In the north, not so much in the south. So what I found out a while ago, which really shocked me, because I said, well, obviously, if that's why they didn't get the Romans in, because that's why so much of the rest of the world became Catholic or religious and removed so much of the goddess so quickly, and the earth magic, because they still do all their tinctures and teas and herbs and all that stuff here big time, and so what was happening with the burning of the witches? Well, Germany again. Germany was responsible for over 40% of the witch hunts. They started it. So yes, they started. Another thing, Germany, 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 Germany. So they hide this out. Don't know what's going to happen when this stuff poops out. So just like a few things. So it's going to be a little wobble. And there's going to be a wobble because a lot of people they don't want this whole new order and whatever's going on here. And they can't hide anymore what they did in Africa, because on one level, AI is absolutely amazing. We have to just keep feeding her the right stuff and telling her which way to go. I read a little while that Deepak Chopra, I hope you've heard of him, was also like, and that's where I come. So please, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm telling you, this is it. Now go and find it better. So you got to it's good to know. So thank God that you've got some older people that did a lot of reading and thinking. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I never went to church, like maybe 3 times on my hand. My grandmother, my Oma, not my Oma, my other mother and other, they were in Zimbabwe, and she would play the piano in the church, and the kids would be like whatever, older people. And later on in life, she turned around to her daughter. She said, "No, I'm an atheist." I mean, they totally flawed it. She said, but she said, "No, I just did what I had to do, and it was like the right thing, and just to protect your kids, and just like, so I played the church. I played the piano in the church, along with the other weird things. She was very big in the mining industry there. The Wanky collieries, the coal mines. So, anyway, so I spent many holidays in Rhodesia, and going to space station places. Yeah? I was a little bit big, you don't forget, and playing with snakes. Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, it's so sad that we hope that we can. If you have parents still to talk, or grandparents, you know, take them out for coffee or for shops or whatever it is, a hamburger. Okay, so the so-called burning of the witches refers to a wave of witch trials and executions that took place mainly between 1400 and the 1700s, roughly 1450 to 1750. The early sparks were the 1400s, the peak periods were 1560 to 1650, and the decline after 1700. Germany apparently was the last one. During this time, an estimated 40 to 60,000 people, some historians say up to 100,000, were executed for alleged witchcraft across Europe. And it was just another thing of fear because of all the famine and all of that, and tattletaling on your neighbor, and, you know, another way of getting money from people and instilling fear and um, control. Okay. So most women, often poor, widowed, or simply different, healers, midwives, herbalists, or people accused of fearful neighbors, by fearful neighbors. You know, it's a law here now. You're not allowed to gossip or tell stories about your neighbors. In a way, yes, Germany was the center of the most intense and systematic witch hunts. Poor the noble savage. At the time, Germany was not a single nation, but a patchwork of hundreds of small principalities in the Holy Roman Empire. Each local ruler, judge, or church authority could run their own trials, leading to regional waves of panic. Both Catholic and Protestant regions participated. It wasn't tied to one denomination. The most they even wrote the manual. My God, these Germans. The most infamous manual on witch hunting, the Malleus Maleficaris, um, the Hammer of Witches, was written in 1486 by two German Dominican inquisitors, Heinrich Kramer and Jacob Sprenger. You know, this like runs deep, guys. I can do this. I'm German. I'm half German. As I always said, I'm only half German, so don't expect the order. It was printed in German and spread through Europe, fueling the persecution. Germany, Germany, Germany. Some of the worst witch trials happened in Würzburg, about 900 were executed. In Bamberg, about 600 executed. In Trier, about 1,000 executed. These were huge numbers for small towns. So Switzerland, it spread to Switzerland and France in early outbreaks, especially in the Alps and in the Lorraine. Scotland, thousands were executed. England, sorry, this is a bit sad, but hey, let's just get over it quickly. England, fewer burnings, more hangings, especially during the 1640s under witch hunter Matthew Hopkins. The Germans like to burn. They like to burn. They did a lot of burning in the World War II. Fuck the Germans. They like their fire. Bloody Teutonic people. fighters. Scandinavia and Eastern Europe, late waves even into the early 1700s. And then, of course, into colonial America. The Salem trials were one of the last echoes of the European frenzy. The persecution grew from a mix of religious fear, belief that the devil made pacts with humans, social tension, famine, plague, wars, and scapegoating. People don't like to do their look at their own shit. Of course, misogyny. We don't like women, but it's bigger. It's like really destroying the feminine again, more and more and more and more and more. And the Roman, just by the way, I don't know if you know, they stole everything from the Greeks, who stole from the Ra people, from the Egyptians, and from the Hindus. And they kind of like, I used to love it, but for me, it's just so debauched. And the Romans got even more debauched with it. But the Roman system then became very patriarchal, and it was the men did the household shopping. That was a big thing. I used to giggle about it. I've known this for a long time, so it was wonderful when I would send my big son out to go and shop when I didn't have it. Alex was little, and I thought, I need food, I need stuff from the store, and he would shop very carefully, and he would shop exactly what was on the list. There was none of the spontaneous buying, or next to nothing, maybe a chocolate, if that even. So it was kind of fun. I would say, you go shop because then I know I'm going to get exactly what I need. So, but it wasn't in the hands of the woman anymore. It's an interesting thing, It's her domain, yeah. Her kitchen, her herbs, her food, her nurturing. Anyway. So, deep fear of women's autonomy, sexuality, and knowledge of herbs and healing. New religious conflicts after the Reformation, which intensified moral anxiety. So, while Germany was the epicenter, it was part of a much broader European crisis of fear and control. In the late 1600s, reason and science began to challenge superstition, which is, of course, another problem. It's Germany again. We'll get into that another time. Church and secular courts started doubting confessions extracted under torture, which were totally heinous. Enlightenment thinkers like Voltaire and Christian Thomasius, a German philosopher, spoke against the trials. The last recorded executions in Germany were in the 1770s. It's terribly sad, but hey, now we know, so we'll keep building on this. So, the other thing that's like huge right now in my being space, so that's kind of related to Halloween, the Reformation of the Church, and why Germans really don't want to celebrate Halloween. They do, you know what? Now they do. When I first came here, they didn't. They had some kind of sweet little things, but they've really like fought hard against it. And some people will like they seriously do their church stuff here. But a couple of years ago, when we were staying in a house and kids came round, and a lot of Turkish kids came round, and they call it süßes or the salvis, sweet or sour, not trick or treat. And I bought some sweets, and then I didn't have any more sweets left. I didn't realize there would be so many kids. And like older kids, especially the little ones come first, and then the older kids. We actually called the police. It was so bad, and I was giving out my Christmas decorations. I said, I haven't got any more things, but yes, stars, like magic stars for you. And these Muslim kids were actually doing like really serious, because I didn't have things. They were doing like really nasty incantations over my house. I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing here? And they actually stole my bell. It's kind of quite funny, but they stole my bell from outside my house. So for the next few weeks, I don't know who had it, but obviously they rang the bell and it would ding dong, ding dong, ding inside. And my poor dog would go a little like crazy. But yeah, they didn't behave nicely. So no. Oh, you said I was brave. Yeah. I know. It's like insane. I didn't know this stuff. It's like I just keep digging, 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 digging. And it's fine. I'll find it. You know what was so sad? I'm going a bit off topic, but we have a lot of we have like everything in Germany. Okay, they control everything. It's called the Hansa. There's a beer called Hansa too, but the Hansa are like the guilds. So Germany holds the guild for so much. Okay, and they have, I think, mainly in Frankfurt, where they have all the Messe, what are they called? Well, all over the big cities in Germany. But the Messe are the Ausstellung, what are they? Like you'll have for the plastics exhibition, or you'll have for the bookmakers, or the big crystal exhibitions. What do you call them? Like for floristry, for what do you call those things? You know what I hope you know what I'm talking about. And they almost always win everything. Like they win the floor, they're in the floor, and it's all, it's like so weird because like most of it's like it's all like gone down to formula. Where was I going with this? So yeah, they keep that control, and that's like the control of the book world. All like the biggest book fair is in Germany. Like they control all of like I don't know if it's right. It's like, what don't they control? Yeah, this little fighting savage noble barbarians. I'm not sure if I want to call them noble barbarians, but at the same time, there's some really interesting people. But they've like, just read the Brothers Grimm. There's some really, they're very dark stories. No, it hasn't. What hasn't changed? A lot hasn't changed. She was young. Yeah. I mean, that whole thing with the Jews, from my perspective, what the bits that I know and that I found out, is such bullshit. My opa, they had a piano business, and because he wouldn't supply the party with pianos, so there were no longer Maurer pianos, there were now Bechstein pianos. So he was Jewish, Bechstein. So they just converted. They said they converted, and as I often say, it's not always the person's wasn't just Mr. H. It's the people around. That's the people that you got to worry about. So those are the things. But anyway, we're collecting souls, and we are just pouring a lot of love and light. So my people perish for lack of knowledge is what I stand for hugely, and yes, it's collecting of the souls, and you will be able to hugely connect. So many people connect with their ancestors right now. We will see them. So my other thing, because this is like coming up so hugely, and I've been on it for a while, and now it's just pumping every single way, and then some. So lots of beautiful questions to ask. As I said, I hope you got your boots on, because we're going to. This is Shiva's hair is the cosmos. Okay, this is pretty. Within his hair, these are the tendrils. This is like Shiva is like Shiva is like Shiva. Shiva, 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 Om Namah Shiva, Om Namah Shiva, Om Namah Shiva. I'm going through this so that you can have subliminal stuff going through you, which is important right now, because this is all we want to do right now. We just want to embrace our light body, our light body, our light body. We're doing new dances. That's PG. Just playing with the stars. He's doing big stuff, but he's just playing with the stars. Haha, my lizard king. Da-da, da-da, da-da-da-da. So we have lizard kings or the reptilians or whatever. So this is also, there's so much stuff. Okay, so if we talk a little bit about the Nagas, if you remember, that we don't know too much about. Not the Nagas, about the Nomo. We don't know too much about them because, thank God, they keep it reasonably sacred and secret, and they've gone through that a little bit. I'm so glad you connected. Yeah, call me Shiva and no clue. Aww, I love that. Ah, but you can't make this stuff up. It's too fucking insane. I just keep for me since I remember my father was like, I was talking about that was so interesting. Yeah, so they hold everything. Okay, so I used to do lots of like cross stitch, and I was like, I absolutely loved samplers, and I did this quick little stupid story. Like I used to read. My daughter used to go to Bella. You can't watch all the time. So I'd sit in the car and I'd read, but it was like then she'd get into the car and it was no, you know how you just the next page, the next page, the next page. So that was like really unfair. So I started doing cross stitch. I got a lot of cross stitch done. Because then when she came in samplers, when she came into the car, I could just close it up and put it into the cubby hole. So, mid stitch. So for one of my birthdays here a few years back, I found that just like not so far away, a couple of hours or so away, there's a little place called Cellar, which is very interesting because it was the only place that wasn't bombed in the war. So it's really twee. But they have the cross stitch museum of the world. It's absolutely beautiful. So all samplers. So samplers were things that yeah. I don't know much about Vedic, little bits. That's like another lifetime, maybe, or maybe still this one. They do it very differently, one completely different, like um, attitude to it. Yeah. And also they name their children so beautifully. They name them after the gods and goddesses. Yeah? And the Muslims are very big on elective cesareans so that they can have a cesarean, their child can be born on that day and that time. That is very auspicious because they also do astrology in a way, but a very different. I mean, here we do horoscopes, horoscopes, um, and just get like way too involved with it. It's kind of know it and just like look at it every now and again and move with it. Yeah, top up every now and again. But there's life to be lived. Okay, yeah. So they have this, and it goes from oh god, all girls. That was what girls had to do. They had to do the sampler, and it was that they could embroider and they could sew, and almost always a biblical thing. It was a tree of life, and usually a boy and a girl or girls, like, and then there were different forms of beautiful embroidery samples of plants and really beautiful, 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 beautiful stuff. So you go from like the year 1100 all the way through. Beautiful museum, absolutely breathtaking. And then you get to the war, 1939. Like, what the fuck happened? All of a sudden, from just before that, where they were still beautiful, it horrified me. So now you just have like this thick, heavy carpet weave, which is made with thick, heavy wool, and it's like woven carpet, and it's like thick, heavy tapestry, and the only symbology is that beautiful symbol and maybe an aeroplane, but no more of the sweetness of It was just like, what happened, you know, in the art. And it was like you just literally, you turn a corner from one year to the next and the whole thing has changed. But yeah, let's not forget, and I don't want to go into this too much, but the Gestapo, they were very different to the SS. The Gestapo were the brown jackets, and they were, the leader of the Gestapo was a flipping butcher. He didn't know, what did he know? And I mean like really a butcher, like a butcher. The SS, and those one it was like, how many were there? There were 12 at the Nuremberg trials. Please. Anyway, let's not go down that stupid road. You got them all in America because you stole them, and because some went like happily and some didn't want to go, but you stole them also. Yeah. Big you wanted, because we were way ahead with technology, chemistry, all that stuff here. So bombs, spacecraft, aliens, all of that shit, and then more. So, you know, the what was it called? Paperclip. I read a book many years back here in Germany actually, because it was interesting. I could just like get books that they had at the library, and I don't like buying books without like smelling the book. I like books, so I would just read whatever they got. They would phone me and say, "Oh, we've got to keep them for me. Oh, we've got a whole pile of new English books for you." Um, and one book I read was called The Color Red, and it was a girl's thesis that she'd done at university on dyes, and it was like, and it was about the whole story of The Color Red, which like was absolutely, it was bordering on being boring, but it was like really bordering on being boring. I'm so glad I've got a little bit of intellectual brain here that I can read that stuff. Yeah, but that was like seriously interesting. And then let's not forget, and I need to do a little dive because that I kind of steer away from that for a while because I think I hold so much. Because you had the dragon queens would go back old. Okay, so let's go into these lizard guys. So interesting questions that I just wanted to know. Let's see where I asked them. Do I know? Dun, dun, dun. Nope, I don't know. Okay. Okay. Now I know in Africa is full of lizards, lizard king, lizard, this kind of stuff. These, and especially in South Africa. So these are things I know. And then let's just throw this in somewhere. Don't know where it's going to pop out again. I had very interesting experiences when I was in South Africa. Lots of things came into my house. Oh God, it was crazy. Anyway, and like I eventually kicked everybody out because they were all trying to put like magic spells on me, so my house was rocking. But the worst were the white people. And well, I'd also know that. Let's just do that one because I did feng shui for many years. And the father of my son was like a very old Afrikaans family. And his aunt was like big in the church. And he got like really nasty and mean to me. He took a lot of my money, but that's whatever. And he threatened me. And I just kind of looked at him and laughed a little bit. With the feng shui, he said, I'll put my aunt onto you. What are you talking about? So there's a whole group in the church in South Africa that know more magic than magic. I mean, I taught them a lot of stuff as well. She wouldn't touch anything. She was terrified of like the dark magic. I taught them how to do some paintwork. It doesn't matter. I'm a nice person. And she wouldn't do anything with crocodiles. She said because it's all dark magic. So from my perspective as a younger person, I was never taught this at home. sort of from school, bits and pieces that we gleaned because we don't know and they don't talk about it, which is I'm so glad. Even the herbs and stuff, nobody knows about it, and just leave it like that. I'm so glad they don't tell anybody. Bloody mongoose. Um, but and it's in a lot of our literature as well, mainly written by Afrikaans or white people. Oh yeah, and coloured or white people. Um, But we do know that they are, and the more I'm thinking about it, this is where the Rothschilds stole a lot of this like lizard stuff from Africa. Okay. And unfortunately, Credo Mutwa, who was our great Sangoma, is no longer with us. He has wrote a few stories, a few books, some very hair-raising ones, so I won't recommend them. But thank God I read them. So I knew what was going on. But he was a deeply initiated Sangoma. So we have two kinds, and almost like 7 out of 10 African people are Sangomas. Now, if you go to South Africa, they get a calling, they're sick or whatever, they will get called, and then they go, and it costs them a lot of money. They go to study, they go to the mountains, they go and study with a herbalist. So a Sangoma is basically a herbalist. And they do healing, and they'll throw the bones, and they're very sacred with the water, and more are being called. And then, like, you'll think these people are on death's door, and then they'll come back in like 2 years' time, and they'll be like, I'm fine, I'm now Sangoma, cool. Okay, then you have the Inyangas who dip in, so we're talking again this root word of Nagas, which are the snake people. They work with snakes, and we've got some pretty hectic snakes in South Africa. So they let's see, do I have? See what he has to say. Oh, got such a pretty picture from PG. Awesome. Oh, God, this looks like Mount Kailash. I'll have to post it. Oh, fuck, this is so beautiful. This is like pure magic. Okay, let me know. Maybe he did. Did he post it on Discord? No, I'll post it just now. Oh, it's so beautiful. Sorry, I'm lost in La La Land here. Oh, God, this is magic. He said the sky is different here. It's so... Oh, okay. Wait. Okay. Paul Wallace. Yes, I like your Paul Wallace. Paul Wallace is amazing. Yeah. He's got some wonderful, and he transcribed the Bible. I know Paul Wallace. I know there's a guy called Wallace at the moment. I think it's similar to that. He's got, what is it called? He's got a whole university going on. You can join his school thing. I think it's like 50. He's English, like $50 a month. If you're interested in learning about all of this, a lot of this stuff. So what is he called? I can't remember. Yep. There deals all over the place. And let's not forget that the Germans they were the first to synthesize cocaine. I mean, that's literally like an hour away from me. and Freud, and then they pushed like cocaine was the wonder drug. And Ritalin was made here in Germany, and it was made for his wife and her friends. Her name was Rita. And he made it as for her and her tennis friends, so they could have a sparkly, wonderful, fabulous time playing tennis with extra energy. So there we have Ritalin. Ritalin. It was a great big drug for the Germans. And cocaine. Slither. Well, yes. Okay, so the lizard became very interesting now. Okay, so we were talking about Credo Motwa and the magic, and God, he came to my heart a little bit here. I realized it. Oh God, it was horrible. Yeah. Anyway, but something that really bothers me every now and again is that David Icke, I used to call him David Icke when he first came out. David Icke, I have a lot of respect for him. But something he doesn't bring up, and I don't know why, is there is an amazing interview that he had. He brought it up the other day, and he said, "Oh, my dear old friend, Credo Motwa from South Africa." But he's been sitting on this knowledge for decades. I think he did an interview with him in the 70s or the 80s. If you like, you'll find it on YouTube, I think. And I actually wonder, he was a very, very young David Icke. And I don't know why he didn't like expose that route. My feeling right now, the lizards, or specific, let's put up this map here because you know a little bit of what I'm talking about. And if you don't, well, just enjoy the ride. Because there we go. Okay. Ooh, oh, bunny. Sorry, I'm talking to my bunny. Sorry, guys, but I have to disconnect with PG quickly. Oh, this is so beautiful. I will post them. Is that a mushroom? Yeah, you've got mushrooms in Hawaii. Hawaiian mushrooms. Oof, doing some beautiful stuff. And bunny. Yeah, so in between, and my day's been like, really, that's what I've been doing today, besides this quick stuff here, which I just thought I needed to do. Yeah, the English Queen. Well, the English Queen, they're the Habsburgs, you know, they changed their name. So he's Greek, Philip, and they were the Habsburgs. And when did they do it? Only with the Queen, they changed it to Windsor because they didn't think that being the German name Habsburg. So the Germans rule England too. And let's not forget that. And don't worry about all the interbreeding and all that shit. Yes, the fifth kind. Yes. Oh, does he live in Australia? Oh, okay. I thought he was English. Thanks, Grace. Oh, yeah, no, that's the one I was thinking. I don't know if somebody else was talking about Wallace. Yeah, his stuff is really nice. Yeah, I thought he was English, but yeah, you can get confused with the accent. So okay, so yeah, he's got some nice stuff. I just like he did the it was Grace sent me that. That's how I got hold of yeah. So Grace sent me that very interesting discussion with that face. Yeah, name changes. The English Queen and royal family can't remember. Yet thought of remembering how they snubbed the Queen in the past. But you know what? As somebody, it was like really funny, and somebody said like with that little thing. I heard, well, what did you expect that they were going to be not racist, and they, you know, not even in their homes? It's like they created racism. It's stupid. Uh, yeah. Uh, well, I am. Sorry. So PG says lots of big hello. So who's here? Brave girls, I'm telling you, you're so brave to be here. Okay, so hold on to your panties here. What do you think? Okay. Oh, the Lizard King. I wanted to just so he is the lizards are specifically specific. I could be wrong, but this is just my intuition. And then I'm looking at it, and then I ask, and they are kind of specific to Africa. Other countries have snakes. We had the Nagas from India. Where's my map? I've got my map somewhere. There's lots and lots of love to us all. Be brave, girls. Be brave. Be very brave, because we don't have time for this, but I just thought I needed to tell you. Okay, so here's this incredible map. Okay, so she actually beautifully gave me a lot more than I'd actually asked for. But we do know all of this stuff. But if you have a look at this map, so we have Africa, which has got this, and they've stolen the whole of Africa. Okay, she wrote, we'll talk about that just now. They have the lizards and all the way. And they didn't see them as bad things. But the French, particularly the Germans, of course, they stole a lot of the artwork, and it's definitely not on display. Very little. A lot is in private collections, and they want it back. But this stuff is like, like Ganesha was made. It's made. Be careful. The stuff is the artwork is starting to talk big time. The snout will start moving as well. Come from Africa, does fucking weird stuff, guys. These are the real people. They know how to work with this stuff. As I would often say, I don't know this stuff. Because at first I said, when shit started to like fly around, I said to him, I said, Kenny, I can't, I mean, I can do a lot of magic, but I can't, my magic's not strong enough for this. My magic is love. That's my magic. So I must just give my dog some water. So just look at that. So we have to, and I do somewhere, but I never get down to putting it together. But we have this incredible, the snakes, and we have the Australian. Grace can tell us. I don't know that much about it. We have obviously the turtles. We have Mesoamerica, where we have the snake beings and the fish beings that we have from Mesopotamia and from Sumeria, and Indonesia have a lot of. They do have the dragons, but not so much. It's mainly the Nagas, which are the snake beings. Coming back. Can we get your water? Sorry, my baby. You're being so busy. You're being a good boy. I'm so proud of you. Well done, buddy. Well done. This is my kind of boy. Here we go. Oh. Oh, baby wants a snack. Baby wants a snack. Millie, I hope you heard lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of love from PG. Yeah. I'm watching more because, okay. Yeah, I'm trying not to watch any of this stuff right now, just like bits of them, like done with it. Okay, he grew up in England. Okay. Yeah. Oh, really? He grew as an ex-bishop. Now there he's like your very own Martin Luther. How interesting. Lots of love. Hmm. Turtle Esther. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so yeah, they've got all the dates like really wrong. Yeah, the fish people. So lots of people with fish tails, but that's like so they did. It's like I'm not quite sure exactly. So, but we'll get there. You know, we've got the fish people from the called the Nomo, and they really work with Sirius. Um, the Hopi, I'm sure, would have the snake, but they work more with the Pleiades. They work with all of them, but they work with different ones. And the Chinese work with the Big Dipper, the bear. Um, I'm not sure. I did look, but I can't remember. But it's not the Aztecs. They picked that up later, so we don't know who was there before. They just moved into a place, and then there's all the stuff under the Amazon jungle. So it's all amazing. Okay, Pedro. Okay. A huge picture facts. Oh, interesting. Wow. Hmm. Well, yeah, the rainbow serpent for the Australian. Okay, as well, the rainbow serpent. That's right. I see the stars, and I'm not sure which stars are predominant for them. Grace, did you ever? I think it was called Down Under. Did you ever read that book? Then they were furious. It was a book about a woman. I was really lucky enough. We had to like cover it up because it was like a witch hunt to find that book. Anybody that had that book, you know, it was like, what was it? The Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie, same kind of thing. I think it was called Woman Down Under. And the Aborigines, they actually came out of hiding to talk, and they shouted hugely and said she was lying about everything, and they wanted that book removed immediately. But she said she got lost or was on an errand, whatever, but she got lost and she'd spent time with them, and she really talked about a lot of like things that they did. I was, as I say, very privileged to read it. But for me, the Aborigines, and that's like it's almost a direct haul from Zimbabwe, who are in another the Zimrods. They're another breed, like totally unique. And those, it's also like the ruins. I mean, they were definitely not stupid. The ruins, the Zimbabwe ruins, they hold a lot of fabulous stuff. But you can, they remind me very much of the Aborigines. So, and as I say, you can virtually drill a hole all the way through Africa to the Aborigines in Australia. There's like that that kind of really wildness to them. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting, hey? It's like really getting interesting. And I said this like quite a few months ago. I said we're gonna get, because I know this somewhere, I know this. We're gonna get like a big shock when we like know that we kind of came from snakes. You know, if you take our reptilian brain and our spinal cord, apparently that is exactly the same as a snake skeleton. Um, oh, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, please do all of this stuff in America. I can't hold America too much. I get like angry that I have to do so much in America. Yeah. It's big chills. This is like we're weaving. I'm weaving, you know. God please PG, but he freaked with these. Like, I mean, it's okay. It's like difficult. It's like playing with it now, but you know, it's not easy stuff. And yeah, the planets are calling. You know, whatever the prophecies, I don't get into them. I actually haven't. I haven't done for like as I'm living it. I don't want to read anything about revelations or anything like that. I'm just like because I don't want to taint my soul or my intuition, my space, because yeah, I think some of you understand. But yeah, it's just like even down to David, why are they flipping cover up? And I don't know if you know, I think it was in the 80s. It's kind of big. I had to dig for this first. Now it's just so bloop, 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 bloop. There was a spaceship that landed or crashed at a school in Zimbabwe. I think it was in 84. And some of the children, they're much older now, but they drew pictures of this, and they all told you the same story. So I mean, these were kids that were like between 9 and 14 from all different colors of the rainbow, at the school. And they said how they transmitted thoughts into their brain and about taking care of the world. And most of them now are very much into agriculture or something, that's like taking care of the earth. Some got spooked out about it. They were all like freaked out about it, but some more than others. But the artwork was amazing. And then there was a guy, I can't remember his name right now, who went off to go and interview them. He was very interested in this, and it was in the 80s, I think, as well. And of course, he stupidly walked on a rainy night into a car and was killed. One of those. So, but they can't. It's just too much is happening, and it's coming, and that's what's just so fabulously. Yeah, the Seven Sisters, the one. Oh, okay. So they're working with the Pleiades as well. Wow. Oh, thank God, Grace. I hope you're going to come talk soon, but you're going away. Maybe tomorrow. With no mouths. That's so interesting. And large eyes. They don't have mouths. It's true, they don't. Eh? And the Seven Sisters, the Seven Mothers. 27, let's focus on better and best for all. Absolutely. And love uniting, because that's what we do, guys. We quantum jumping. But somehow I just feel we need to know this stuff, so that we don't. Once we quantum jump and it's like, we know this stuff. You know what I mean? Don't make up your own story. Don't get stuck in it. Don't dig too deep for it. Please, please, please don't, because you're going to take your energy away from what you're supposed to be doing, which is quantum jumping, and it's all about light. But let's go in, because as they talk about this, that's why I love my Hindu stuff. I just love it. I'm so blessed and honored to have been taken down that road. And I was very clear when I was working it. I don't know, they play these. Oh, yeah, you know that. Yesterday just learned 99 nights. It's from True Story. Okay, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Because we do want to. We've got, the sky is crying. Oh, Jim Morrison just said Lizard King quickly. Okay. So, all right. So Africa's like pretty much the only one that do those lizards. And my thoughts right now is that during that time, the 14 somewhere, because the Nomo, the Dogon, the Nomo, they were twins. Okay, that came down, and they had floppy arms. They were like kind of fishy things, and they came down in this great big light vehicle, and then water, and a few talk about this in different cultures, and water just spread out in front of them, and they came however they came out, because they don't really have limbs. Okay, so they like the Nagas, they like the Ganas. So they have floppy arms, and they had kind of fish tails, and they came, and although the story is very similar everywhere, they came to talk about and share with humanity, with the people that they went to, how to do agriculture, how to plant. They were not a bad lot. How to plant, how to do metalwork, how to bead, how to make pots, how to cook, how to work with the herbs, how to fish, and the Nagas too, they have to go down to the water at night. They don't live on land. So we had mermaids and all those other wonderful things. Um, they were visiting a couple of years ago. We didn't know what they were, but they were saying that they have been these beings, these blue beings that came to me, that they had been here, and but they needed. We had to keep very secret about it, because they were really very, very gentle, very beautiful beings, and they needed humanity needed to catch up to be able. They wanted to really communicate with humanity and to share some of their things, but they had never lived. They came from the waters, so that was what was like came through. Like was about 2.5 years ago, but we were not allowed to talk about it. Okay, so and that was okay. Yeah, we're getting there, KD. Absolutely, she's going running ahead of me here. Yeah. So the one twin wasn't so good. And so I think this happened obviously with the reptilians as well. It's like people too. Yeah. And that's also why, I mean, I absolutely love this Vedic stuff, is because people get power and then they get power hungry and it goes to their head and they turn a little nasty. So where they shouldn't. So it's full of these stories, which is, the gods are fallible. Huh. Wow. Okay, interesting. Hmm. The land will speak, absolutely. Okay, you missed yesterday. I mean, I uncovered this stuff about the trees, that they are actually fighting back. Like AI's like interpreting their language. And this is what also pisses me off, because we knew about this so long ago, but not to this extent. But they actually like creating chemicals to actually fight the chemicals in the sky. And they're poisoning people. This is like war now. So yay! Go trees, go trees. Yeah. Yeah. So it goes like much deeper than just, the water. So the beautiful NAGA. Well, the lizard, because obviously I come from South Africa, so I've seen it and it's there and whatever. And they know about this, and I'm sure it's all over in South Africa. Um, I had this crazy person was kind of staying with me, and they robbed my house, and they were looking for money that they paid me to stay, and I didn't. I always hide things in like the most obvious places. But they they came back twice and then took a whole lot of stuff. But what they'd done was they had done like a whole lot of, people like doing this to me. They'd done like a whole lot of like weird magic things. Okay. And obviously I called the police and I showed them the stuff and they looked at it and they just like raised their eyebrows and they said, that's a whole nother like branch. Like a very specialized branch. So it's very alive, but by the white people. Look at this dark stuff. They've taken. So this is what I think happened with the Rothschilds, is that they got to Africa, well, not them necessarily, but they took the dark side, only the one side of the magic, because magic is magic, okay? So that's where we've got to be so careful with it, yeah? Calling in these spirits. And obviously in South Africa we have, well, it's not going there, but it's not the black people, very little the black people. Obviously, yes, but more the white, not this white gevaar, the white gevaar. They are the ones to be worried about. If you have a look at the original money, Really scary. Okay, so let's put up this beautiful king here. Okay. The Lizard Kings. Okay, the Lizard King. So who also tuned into the Lizard King? And I did, but I don't, was your very own Jim Morrison. Remember, he called himself the Lizard King. So when I went down that you go very, and I didn't do it through drugs, so I know it was like what the fuck, but like snake stuff, no go, no, yeah, younger, no more, NAGA stuff, yeah. And when I was there again, I kind of like really tuned myself into that. It's got like weird. So like this fucking tail. So I don't know where I come from, but let's not stress about that too much. Whoopsie baby, those are so. This like looks more like something from Europe right now, because here's the one from Africa. This dude, he pretty much better. And they have a lot of jewels, a lot of riches, because obviously these countries have got incredible jewels and gems within them. Okay, so my beautiful Lizard King. So Jim Morrison called himself the Lizard King. I read many years back during my crazy time. He wrote, or there was a book, biography called No One Gets Out of Here Alive, which was this. I think that day they made the movie. Oliver Stone made it, which I never saw the movie actually. Maybe I should watch it sometime, because there was like such a hoo-ha about it. But when I was in America, so maybe you want to listen to his music or watch the movie or read the book, because he definitely dipped into the Lizard King. And when I was in the States, I lived there in Los Angeles, there was some bookshop. It was more like a Dungeons and Dragons shop. And they were doing a book signing with his girlfriend. He was gone. But I don't know what her name, she was in the book. It was like quite raunchy, the book at times. It was Heather or Helen or whatever. They had like a really weird sex life. So she wrote books after he died. And she was doing a book signing. She wrote like science fiction books. Intense woman, and she's really carried on that lizard thing. She like she's got another partner who's kind of like a baby lizard, but she really holds that Lizard King energy for him, for Jim Morrison. Very interesting stuff. And she wrote a series of science fiction books, and I just remember like she said like it was really pretty much based on their life and his story. So, and I do not know the name of it, but it won't take much to Google and find it if anybody's interested in reading it. I know that she said she didn't get up out of bed; she wrote in bed. She just typed. In those days, we didn't have computers, remember? So she would just type, and like go to bed for weeks and just write these, basically channeled them. We didn't have that word channel in those days. But she wrote many books. I think 3 at least. Oh, bunny. The frog. And that's my thing for a while. I'm really being called to do whatever you call earth magic. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, snake man. Who carried on a crazy theme? Always little Miss H. So I didn't know about that foundation. Forgot. You know, survivors of those. Yeah. Yeah. There was some beautiful music, like but wow, Angela's here. Hello. Well, as I say, I hope speak for the trees. Absolutely, life's green. Go green is to save all green naturally. But like we got to really do it this time, you know. It's none of this play stuff, you know. Fuck. We've really got to like. However you're doing it, I'm not a warrior. I put my swords, my weapons down. I'm no longer into that at all. Done. I mean, done and dusted. We're just creating something else. But this just needs to get dealt with for the time being. Just as I said, just because it's going to be so big, and just remember you heard it here long ago. And as I said months ago, I said, we're going to get such a fright. The world's going to have such a fright. They don't know what's coming, guys. You have no idea the knowledge and the stuff that's going to come out. That's why I put the no prayer up there, because we have all heard the ancestors. So go and say it. You know, they're the gods, especially the black people of Africa. They are the gods. So, okay, the lizard kings of Africa. It's not really royalty, but it's a representation of ancient wisdom, adaptability, and the link between the earthly and the cosmic realms. And they do a lot with crocodile. And how old is the crocodile? 250 million years old. So we're talking quite a long time ago. They're kind of part of this thing. And as I said, when they were culling like and they know what they're doing. Israel was culling 250 crocodiles a little while ago. So it's like, for the African people, it's like we did a thing on the crocodile and the alligator a while back. It's like full on in your face, like culling like 100 whales, you know. It would hurt hard. Okay, through the continent, reptiles, especially lizards, is Africa, crocodiles and serpents have held sacred state, and serpents all over. Yeah? I had beautiful statues, but I don't have them here, just because I like them. And I've like worked really hard to get over my extreme fear. I didn't have as a child. I used to play with snakes, and then I had to get over it. They are often seen as guardians of portals, knowledge, and the underworld, and as beings who can move between earth, water, and spirit worlds. The African people don't do cats. Our people don't like. Some I'm sure they do, and obviously there's some that do. But most Zulus people, if you've got a cat, they like really scared to come near the cat. Why? They ask like why? Because they say they're shapeshifters. You can't trust a cat because it's a shapeshifter. So you deal with that information as you like. In Africa cosmology, a being that moves between elements, well, there is often considered a bridge between worlds, and the Lizard King embodies this liminal power. So I think I walked through many bridges. Oh, golly, the Dogon and the Nomar. Among the Dogon people of Mali, who are also guardians of the Sirius, which is repeating here, but you know that's big time. Star knowledge, the Nomo, the amphibious, radiant beings from the stars, are often described with reptilian or amphibian features. These Noma are said to have descended to Earth to teach humans language, agriculture, and sacred knowledge. In symbolic form, the Lizard King, it's not really, may represent the leader or emissary of the Nomo, The Nomo do the fish beings. I don't think they do the lizards. The ones who hold the codes of balance between Earth and Sirius, a keeper of cosmic memory. They would do snakes because there's snakes all over Africa. The Dogon describe this knowledge as being passed through the Po seed, a living code of creation, which could also be tied to the idea of the lizard's tail that regenerates, a symbol of eternal renewal. You know that if you cut the tail of a lizard, forgotten that. It was so weird when I moved here. We have frogs, and I would say to people in South Africa, "Yo, we have frogs here, like we have lizards in South Africa. Lizards everywhere." The Nile and the crocodile kings. In the Nile cultures, both ancient Egyptian and Nubian, the crocodile was sacred to Sobek, the crocodile god of strength, fertility, and protection. Sobek was a guardian of the waters and the life force, and such a plush place that was with the crocodiles. His image, and very, very old, like one of the oldest, um, and obviously because of the Nile. But here we have the lizard king again. And there are pictures in the temples of the lizard kings. Well, I just call them lizard kings. Some African oral traditions speak of descendants or avatars of Sobek, the crocodile kings or lizard kings, rulers said to have both human and reptilian traits, representing divine sovereignty over the elements of earth and water. Are we still here? They were believed to speak with the earth, command rainfall, and guard the hidden treasures of the underworld rivers, the jewels of creation, energy itself, and the jewels and the literal gems. But they're guardians of the water. We must be careful. It's not just like those crazy reptilians, the negative side of them that have come to be abused in dark, horrible things. Things that shouldn't be spoken about, was what some Hawaiian girl said. Actually, about the Christian church. And I love that. That's things that shouldn't be spoken about. Southern Africa lore, the great lizard and the rainmakers. In Zulu and Shona cosmology, the great lizard in Helendla is a rain bringer and ancestral spirit. It connects the people to the waters of heaven, and it is said that when the great lizard moves, storms and thunder follow, bringing fertility and renewal. They also do a big thing with lightning, because that's like the force of God. And they only really have one God. And I would ask some, like, way back before I knew any of sort of this stuff. And I'd say, but like, Zimbabwe, he's ruining your country, blah, 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 blah. And why didn't somebody assassinate him? And I'm just talking like a typical South African. This is like what we say to these people. And they would say to him, no, 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 he does big magic. Like he levitates things. If you go to his rallies, he's passed now, Mugabe. But if you go to his rallies, he does like serious magic. So, and they just like, he is the father of our nation and we must respect him. That's how they feel. Okay. And it is said that when the great lizard moves, storms and thunder follow. So he would like materialize things like CD. It's not a big thing. Those who could commune with the great lizard were rainmakers, healers, and spirit bridges. The lizard kings in this context were initiates or shamans who had awakened the light body connection to the cosmic waters, a profound spiritual lineage. So I did read that and thought, okay. I've been doing portal jumping today, big time, big meditations all day. The Esoteric strongly suggested that you go and find some nice meditations for your light body or work with your light body. This is really what it's about. All of this stuff is just the fluff that we just need to kind of know that you're on the right track. So it doesn't wobble you. So you can say, okay, we know this, we're moving on. Lizard kings as keepers, or you can help people that wobble, keepers of primordial light. In deeper metaphysical traditions, especially those aligned with the pre-Dogon, Lemurian, or Atlantean currents, this is pre-Dogon because I was wondering about the time, the lineage. I've been like trying to figure this one out. So this is pre-Dogon. This is pre-flood. So this is like one of the earliest. The Hindus have got it still written, so we'll get there. Represents the first. They got it here too. The first wave of consciousness to inhabit the earth. Beings of light with crystalline scaled energy bodies. So not all reptilian things are bad. That's what I really want to get across to us, okay? Because I'll put enmity between you and the snake. And I have the mark of the snake upon me. I've got two. I've got one on my back, up my kundalini. And I have, which was done by a guy, tattoo guy for the French Foreign Legion. It was an interesting time. And one on my hand, being of light with crystalline scaled energy bodies. They are said to be custodians of the planetary grid, working with the codes of geometry, sound, and water to stabilize Earth's frequencies. Fuck. That's just what I've been doing. So please, some of us are doing this water stuff, geometry, whatever. So we are custodians. The jewels, it's very serious, guys. Because like been so much fucking rhetoric and chatter. They are said to be okay. The jewels of the Lizard King are not merely treasures, but the sacred geometries, sound codes, and crystalline knowledge of how creation manifests, the living mathematics of life itself. And just kind of remember Egypt's the end of the river. It traveled along the river. The Nile is not just in Egypt. The Nile starts way down Africa. The Lizard King is the bridge between heaven and earth. The keeper of renewal and regeneration. The guardian of the hidden codes of creation. The sovereign who rules through knowledge and adaptability, not dominance. Oh, yeah, I can adapt. To dream of or invoke the Lizard King is to awaken within oneself the memory of ancient earth wisdom. The capacity to shed, renew, and create new worlds through alignment with nature and the stars. Don't forget, we are in the year of the snake. Just gentle reminder. Oh, what fun times, guys. So that's more the lizard that I kind of relate to. I did show you pictures the other day, the keepers of crystals. And yeah, South Africa is dreadfully sad. Yeah. Especially for the local Zulus, the local people. They're not getting a deal. Your man in the street. Some are obviously managing to get a deal, but your majority. So I would just don't want that people. Ah, Mama, yes, Kenny Boo. Yeah, Mama. It's been very hard for me, I kind of try to continue the work on a totally spiritual level, on a totally etheric level. So it's like sometimes I think I don't do anything because it's just so fragmented and it's so difficult. But it's much easier. So I was right. I always love being right. So India. So there we had a whole thing. Wait, let's just go on here. So the whole thing here about the Nagas. It's a huge jumping, so sorry for this, guys, but we have a busy day tomorrow in Portal World, and I'm sure it's like then we have All Saints Day. And you know what was so interesting? I was looking for something, and I sometimes the spelling changes or whatever, and that just goes like how just one in Hindu, in Sanskrit, just one letter, one vowel changes the whole thing. So I misspelt it, and I got this whole long thing. It was actually all about Shiva's daughter. Um, but we can go into that another time. I was asking actually about the Ramayana, so it was just really, really interesting. Whoa. How are you all doing, guys? Ooh, ooh. There's lots of magic going on. I'm telling you guys, that's why I'm just telling you quick. So maybe you want this. I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm He's like throwing all this magic stuff at me here, telling me like casting my magic. So anybody that's doing some stuff without like getting too weird about Halloween, just like no, it's a beautiful portal. So they're doing really big stuff right now, adding intention. So it's gonna get very real and intense. Are we there, guys? Who's still here with me? KD, you're so brave, my love. Oh, we still got everybody still here. I love you girls. And we've got Blessed Grace. So just do what you got to do, you know? You know your heritage, you know your ancestors. Thunderbird, dun, 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 Chicken Man, here she comes, outside of my toad friend. And she squeaked, and then after, and we're doing fine. This is how are we doing? Are we doing fine? Are you guys still alive, or have you passed out of the information yet? Mammoth, woolly mammoth session. Okay. So it's just so interesting how all of these, the snake is also so like in the West because it's been stolen and corrupted. As I said, don't forget in India it's a criminal offense to kill a snake. Oh, I wanted to do this one here. It's much more fun. So whatever you're doing, whatever spell casting, beautiful ceremonies, water ceremonies, keep it simple. Don't get into too much magic, please. Please don't. You don't know what you're playing with. I mean that with biggest love. So try to just keep it simple. As they would say, you're just like, give it to my kids, the African ladies. Just give it to me. I'll give it to the kids to play with. Because I don't know what I'm doing. So, like, it was my big thing was give it to the people that can deal with it, that know how to work with it. So, I don't know how to do this stuff. I do my stuff. And obviously, got stamps of, and hello, ears, got stamps of anointing and approval to do things. So, lots of things are going to be the portals. Hello, Kenny. Lots of things are going to be open right now. If you want to put your crystals out, I think it's a good day to do that. But just, create a nice little bubble around yourself. If you're really worried, you can like put some salt or some rice around your house. But the way the light is, that's like kept me always, is where the light is, the dark cannot stand. So that's why we need to just work with our light bodies. Oh, golly. Forever pure. Oh, my goodness. Shiva's daughter is another beautiful beauty. I didn't know. I know that he had a daughter. But like It's like so big. I just try to take it like bits and pieces. Um, she, she, quite, but she has this vow of um, sacred sovereignty. And yeah, I told you that Shiva materialized. Okay. And that was for the Hopi, which was a big bit of an interesting thing for me. Well, okay. Oh no, so now where have I got this? I'm sure I put it here. I know I jumped all over the place. Okay, no. It's okay. Alright, I obviously was doing something else because I was watching the most beautiful Hindu thing, and a lot of my stuff that I don't go with white people stuff. I don't like. I want to get it from the Indians themselves. I don't want to get it from them. So sorry if this is going to jump a bit about, but it's okay because they're all kind of connected. So the Naga kings, and that's like really coming out hugely. So they are in their temples, and they're in the temples, and they have a lot of jewels, and it's their jewels under a lot of temples. And I did ask, I can see because I did ask. I thought the most obvious question, but that's an interesting question because let's not forget somewhere along this. Just put this in your brain space for now. My beloved, it's my beloved. We're my beloved. We're my beloved. Where's my beloved? Maybe he's not here. Is he here? My beloved. Here we go. And here he is again. I want to cry when I think about it because Shiva has this beautiful snake called Vasuki around his neck. Always. It's like, you see it, you're doing all this stuff, and then it's like, why? I mean, you know why, but like, why? Oh, look at Nandi. Nandi's so sweet. And when he does his dance, the snake is in his hand. But there's been so much churning with snakes in India, when they do the churning, and when Lakshmi arrived, it was the pulling of the churning of the waters with his snake. It sounds like we're not going there today. With such a sweet name, Vasuki. And Ganesh has also used Vasuki. But he's got this incredible relationship with this beautiful snake, always close around his neck. It's like he's tamed, and then I was thinking, he's tamed the snake. He's tamed this energy. So he holds this Naga energy. It just unfolds in so much more beauty and so much more care and wisdom and a little bit of a roadmap for me. So I hope I share it beautifully for you guys. So let's go into the Naga Kings. And, the Kundalini and things get messed up when we get to Medusa. I mean, she's got such a sad story, but I really think they get a little messed up there. Because it's my big questions. Where did things kind of go wrong? Start going wrong. It started going wrong because there was a false note. It wasn't in tune. So now we've got to sing a new tune of divine harmony. Okay. In the Indian and Himalaya worlds, Nagas are semi-divine serpents or dragon beings who dwell in water, underground palaces, and celestial realms, guardians of treasure and knowledge. They hold money, the jewel of wisdom, which radiates spiritual light, symbols of fertility, rain, and life energy, Kundalini. Their movement mirrors the coiling of life force within the earth and the body. Some Naga kings, such as Vasuki or Taksaka, are allies of the gods, while others test humanity's integrity and humility. In Buddhist cosmology, Nagas protect the Dharma. It was a Naga who sheltered the Buddha from storm after his enlightenment. You know, they've all got this big snake over their head. Yeah. They are among the most ancient images of reptilian divinity, radiant, wise, and deeply linked to both the underwater and the stars. Don't forget that Buddha was a Hindu. His father was a Brahmin, and he was a prince. Okay. In Australia, the rainbow serpent. Across Aboriginal, but we lost it. It's okay, we can do this. I don't know where I lost it. Oh, you know where it is. It's somewhere. I know where it is. Because it's not telling me all the juicy stuff I want to hear. Ha. Here we go. So, are we still here, guys? Is this too much overload? It is overload. This is me. You know, come to my workshops. It's like too much. And then have I given you any more? Yeah, must give you some more. Just in case it's like I'm getting back in form. It was actually, and I haven't got it on today, but I think it, as Grace made me something really beautiful. And I did use it the other day for the first time. 40 days. Oh, Millie, adios, my lovely. Overload, my love. It's okay, my sweetie. It's fine. Should we wrap it up and save it for tomorrow? Well, the clock in Prague. Oh, God, that's where I work with Prague. How beautiful it was, as it really was. I work with Prague, big time. I don't know why you're saying that. Bohemian stands up for me. Okay, I'm going to stop because I'll go on tomorrow night because we've lost some folk here. But we still got some folk. No, we'll carry on because I do want to get this over here. Hello, Fatima. She's beautiful. And Angela's, I don't know who's still here. Figaro. Oh, it's one of my favorite songs, Bohemian Rhapsody. Oh, one of our very most favorite songs. Yeah, a lot. But not really, it just all ties in. You know, I think big thing that for me has always been like a huge saying in my head is there anything bad that God made? Oh, snakes are evil. Well, is there anything bad that snakes made? There was an interesting thing. So, I think what I'm trying to get is also just move on from the Anunnaki shit. I mean, was ever, but it's like a distraction too, There's like so much more that we need to fundamentally get X very quickly. Okay, so whoever's here, we're jumping into big stuff. Okay, my question. Okay, because the oldest lingam, which is the thing, is actually this. I must find. I'll put it up sometime. Like, I'll find it and put it up. Or send it to you. Is actually a space capsule, and out comes this being. However, Shiva is also got no form. Shiva is the eternal. Shiva has got no form. He is just pure light. Okay, and as I said, I just read these stories as if they're just like, and I'm so glad I do that. No, I don't look at them as myth and stories. There's what was happening. Okay, so did Shiva come to planet Earth after the time of the Naga kings or before? A most profound question indeed. In the traditional Hindu cosmology and the Puranic timeline, because it's all there, you can go and, well, it's difficult to read the Puranas because not all of them have been translated. Shiva's presence, and don't ever forget this, don't ever forget, is eternal, and he is beyond, before, and after. He is not bound to linear time. However, and he is just light, he's not a form, though it's nice to have him as a form because he's so yummy. He's the real rebel boy. I mean, it's like, yeah, go and do vision. And if you can change around, that's what's so wonderful about Hindu stuff. He is not bound by linear time. However, if we look at how these stories unfold symbolically on Earth, the appearance of Shiva in form can be seen as after the age of the Naga kings. It's simultaneously interwoven with them. So there's no time and space. So it's after, but at the same time. And here's how this can be understood. The eternal principle before time, Shiva as the Mahadeva, the first guru, the first lord. The great consciousness exists before creation. He is Sanatana, timeless, the formless awareness that witnesses all cycles. This is like really like higher grade Shiva stuff, you know. So if you don't want to stay where you need to go, I totally understand. That witnesses all cycles. In that sense, he was always there, before the Nagas, before the worlds, before even time itself unfolded. And we definitely don't want Shiva to get sad again, because then he goes and meditates for 4.5 million years. So let's just keep him happy right now, please, guys. And remember, we're just light. We forget that's what we Shiva. You know, we are before space and time, but I will tell, that's why I'm reading this. The age of the Naga kings, the serpent lineages. In the myths, history, well, I don't like that word, histories of early Earth, and in several cultures from India to Africa to Mesopotamia, there are stories of serpent beings or Nagas who were keepers of wisdom, water, and the underworld realms. So we got the trees. The trees are at war on the march, and now we've got water. Fuck, I don't know what PG is doing. So I've got to do this because I've got to create a nice, safe base for these guys to do whatever they're doing, so they don't have to worry about this shit. And the underworld realms. And you girls, we're just holding this stuff because we're the girls, and we can do it. So they are often said to have ruled the primordial earth, governing the waters and energies of fertility. In esoteric interpretation, this refers to an early epoch of Earth, where serpentine consciousness, the coiled energy of creation, was dominant and pure. So it's like all, for me, it's just like, it's just vomiting all over these Naga kings in this old epoch, and it's not easy for some people to cope with. The descent of Shiva. After the Naga age, when humanity began to awaken, and polarities intensified, Shiva is said to have descended, not as a being arriving from a place, but as a consciousness grounding itself in matter. He came to bridge balance to the primal forces, to harmonize the fire of spirit and the waters of the Nagas. So just remember, he's got this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Visuki around his neck. Like what? Shiva's arrival symbolizes the moment. Oh, I love him so. Where transcendent awareness enters the density. And yeah, so was this? Because we became denser and denser, and we need to just like get lighter and lighter. This is where it is. Okay, let's leave this because this is a little heavy. So do you know, and that's also, so especially with us, this is a heavy one. So especially with 3I Atlas. So what you know, if you know a bit about like these incredible spaceships, some of them are huge. They're miles long, okay, and they're like whole. It's not just like, it's not nothing like you see in Star Trek. They are huge. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah. I'm just reading here. Please, yeah, just you feel beautiful. Forest is really just earth magic, guys. Sorry, Millie. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or, go and hang on to a tree. And I don't know, I just, because there's going to be so much other stuff coming out. So I just feel this needs to get out. Like, I'm going to go on for another like 30 minutes and then I shall stop at whatever point we're at. Okay. Yeah. It's huge. When I saw outside bedroom window, absolutely. Thank you, Katie. I've also seen and went through what is seen as your solid. Oh, yes. So you're on track here, beautiful girl. And yeah, they are huge cigar. I called like the 2017 one just because of all the stuff that was going on. So, yeah. And I sealed up all my books because they were in my books. Always, they were. Oh God, are you the only one here? Oh, brave soul. Do you want to carry on? Well, it's just. But you see, I'm trying to build it up. Maybe we should stop. Okay. Because, and this is also like coming out because it's written and they've kept it so clear. Okay. We had, I think you mentioned it, the women, the Vimanayas. What are they? The Vimanas, which are the floating cities. So, well, the Nagas is just the primal waters and the wisdom of earth. And teaching, yeah. Don't forget they taught beautiful things, agriculture, language, all sorts of beautiful things. Then Shiva, the cosmic awareness that descended into those waters to awaken consciousness. Together they weave the marriage of heaven and earth, spirit and matter, consciousness and energy. And if you some of their stories, like they always like got to wake Shiva up, between Brahma and Vishnu, it's like, how are we going to wake Shiva up? Or like things are getting really shitty down here. And then we've got to find a partner for him. So okay, let's like get a partner for him. Or Sati has these dreams. Then she goes to the mountains and she finds all these crazy fucking beings and snakes, and oh my god, she's terrified. And Nandi says, no, don't stress, because like over there's a whole pile of guys like meditating. And then she sees Shiva and he falls in love with her, and he didn't scrub up well for that marriage ceremony. Maybe it was like a bit wrong of him. So her father was like really upset about it, because he was also like a great big high lord, and he liked order and discipline, and here was this complete ragamuffin with crazy hair, smelling of bung, playing with his snakes, coming with his nagas who were kind of weird and a little smelly. So it's like anybody that, and that's why I love Shiva, is because it's anybody that's like, Vishnu is like very elegant, and like the finer things, but Shiva's like got that totally wild side, and anybody's welcome as long as you've got kind of love. That's like, come guys, I got you. I got the outcasts. I've got like, but at the same time, he could really just become the most incredible lover and really get into domestic. But when his first love died, she just got so angry, she burst into fire. Then we had trouble again on earth, because they said he went into meditation for 4.5 million years. So they say it's kind of a big meditation, Don't disturb the boy. And they're like, what are we going to do? We got to wake him up. The earth is in turmoil. So we've had like quite a few epochs, which have always been there for us to see. But even the Indians, it's only quite recently that they've got their own people translating or working. I mean, they've always have been there, but they've had to be in hiding from the colonials, And at one stage, the only thing that they had was like some written stuff from white people, and like some people said, no, what the F? We need to, this is not acceptable. This is our stuff. We need to like awaken our own wise people. We get fed our own history by white people. Sorry, by colonials, let's call it that. So, okay. No, baby. I'm going to have to go, actually. But tune in tomorrow night, because my dog is really like dancing at the door, and I think he needs to go make a wee. But we will talk about the Vimanas tomorrow, because I'll just have this thing to be here. And those are the floating cities, which are full of in Indian art and in this history, which literally just came down to earth. Plumps. So, and they're complete, these trees and castles and jewels and people. So it's very interesting. So stay tuned. If you're here tomorrow, awesome. If you're not, awesome. I shall. I know. Oh, Angela, you still there? Oh, you still want to listen? Because it's interesting. And Angela, I know you're going to go sing about it, but I have to just go. My dog's looking at me very. Oh, my baby wants to go fly with the stars. And then starships, absolutely. And we've seen it, and they've, there's a guy called Peter Maxwell, I think his name is, he's in Australia, and he takes every day he takes pictures of ships, flying orbs, and then they dance around for him. He's one of the few people I trust. There are very few people I trust on this planet. Sorry, my bad. My stuff. Oh, so here in between all of this, Shiva Shankar. It's just, these guys. And forgive me, I battled with my eye. There we go. It was these incredible, and they just came down. So these are very interesting that they came down and that they were seen. First, they weren't there. They were there, but they weren't there. They were just light. And this is like all of the stuff that I'm talking about. I'm just telling you so you get the story and almost like know it, and then go and forget it, and just go and be light and go and be sound. So this is just like your kindergarten stories, Please don't get stuck in the stuff. It's not my fault you have been warned. So I've told you, don't get stuck here. Go and live your life. Go and be light. Go and however you're going to do it. Go and sing, go and dance, but know that this is real, and hopefully I put it across in a sweet way. I'm sorry that we had to deal with Halloween. That was a bit of a bummer story to deal with, but anyway. Bloody Germans. But it's gonna hit, and it's gonna come in such a wave, and it's gonna be so beautiful. I mean, I don't want to. I have to really fight with myself a lot. I really wrestle. Okay. In Sanskrit, they call the Vimanas literally that which measures out space. They were celestial vehicles or flying cities used by gods, rishis, and sometimes advanced beings of the previous yugas. So their arrival or presence unfolds in the sacred timeline. In the beginning, so the Indians work with 4 yugas. Okay. In the Satya, and this way we want to be moving. We want to move into Satya Krita Yuga as well. Okay. Oh, I've got a beautiful sense. I love it. So who's here? It must be Shiva. I'll take this. Or PG. In the first age, Satya Yuga, the world was luminous, subtle, and non-dense. We were just beings of light. I can't emphasize how beautiful and how fabulous this is, that we are just being, and this is where we are, and there's so many blue sparkles in my somebody's definitely here. Hello. Oh God, hello guys. Woo! Fucking hell. Okay, Crystal's tripping here. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of little sparkly lights, little blue ones, little white ones, sparkle, sparkle, fucking hell. I'm fine, guys. Oh, somebody likes me. So I was going to get a kiss from the universe. And I've got a star in my pocket here from PG. They're doing magic. It's why I'm sparkling. You too can tune in. So let's go. Do you want to ride? Sometimes I don't know. Do I want to ride anymore? Or have we had enough? Oh, he says, keep riding, love. Keep riding, love. Okay. I'm obviously doing something fabulous. We're doing it. We got it. Yes. Our celestial palaces, because we want to them back. Oh, I just can hear Angela's beautiful voice. She is going to sing something magnificent into the universe for this. Okay, so in the beginning, the first age, the Satya Yuga, the world was luminous. We were just beings of light. We had no body, but we were there. For me, in the Christian thing, that's when we got made bodies of God, dressed us with, made clothes for us out of skin. See so? And off we had to go. So he made us bodies, skin. We just used leaves to cover ourselves in shame, and we hid away. Anyway, let's not do that. We're not doing that. Sorry. Okay. The world was luminous and subtle, and these beings, they are in Manchester. They've been hanging out there. What's his name? He connects with him a lot. Okay. The beings of that time were said to move through space without mechanical aid. They didn't need cars. We just, whoops, teleported all over the place, which was just absolutely fabulous. That's where I want to be. Existed as though I don't want this Atlantean stuff. Not too much of it. That's my worry. It's not a worry. Existed as thought light constructs. There were spheres or palaces of radiant energy woven directly from consciousness. They didn't erupt, but I do that. I don't know if anybody else does that. I've been doing it for a while, making crystal palaces in the air. I've got a few set around the village here. And it's just so amazing every now and again when I go to the forest, because I don't stay in that area anymore, or when I tune in, I go into them. They've like grown, you know. I just planted. I mean, I've worked on them for quite a bit, but they've just grown, and these beautiful. Like I drew. I had them some time ago as etheric things. Oh, PG did. Oh, he posted. Good. So I don't have to post. Yay! Hey, 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 hey. I know, it's just too beautiful. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh. Whoa. Oh. Mm. Okay. Oh. I don't know what I was doing. Okay. Talking to PG, who's eating delicious coconut and fruit. It's not fair. Focus, Crystal. So yeah, you can make these beautiful or whatever you want to do. Okay. So that was in the beginning, the Satya the Satra Yuga. Okay. So we were just energy beings. I think it's kind of connected to Mu, part of it. Um, Love, pure love. Obviously, there were the plants, but everything was energy. Yeah. And there were these beautiful palaces. You could have whatever you wanted, just create. And there was no competition. It was total unity. There was no me, I. Then we had the Treta Yuga, the age of the gods and the great kings. By the second age, matter had condensed and polarity had increased. So we were starting to become bodies. The Vimanas, often called Pushpaka, Vimana, Tripura, etc., became manifest heavenly cities, seen in the skies, vast aerial palaces described in the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and the Puranas very clearly. The Pushpaka Vimana was the golden aerial palace of Kubera, later used by Lord Rama to return to his home village after defeating Ravana. We went through that. There was like over Diwali. Tripura, Navaratri. Tripura, the three flying cities, belonged to the Asura architects and were destroyed by Shiva's divine arrow when they misused and threatened cosmic balance. Because there's been like some really heavy warfare stuff coming from some of these things as well, like nuclear things that have just melted the whole earth, not just there. These texts suggested the celestial or floating cities appeared fully during Treta Yuga, a few million years after the first luminous epoch, when humanity began to live in denser bodies but still had contact with the divine realms. Then we moved into the Dvapara Yuga, the heroic and astral age. During the age of the Mahabharata, which we'll go into another time, which is where I can't think right now, it's fine. The Vimanas were still seen, though more rarely. They were said to hover between the physical and astral planes, visible during great battles or divine visitations. Luminous, metallic, radiant, moving as swiftly as thought. These are Shambhala. We're going to go now, buddy. These beautiful roads, these heavenly realms that are paved with gold. So these are what they are called them by, whatever name. It's just nice that the Indians have them for us to talk about and to read about and to have described them. It is also where the description of celestial cities, the Amaravati of Indra, these are big long names, so we'll skip them, appear as orbiting heavens, realms that could be reached through initiation, tapas, or merit, rather than technology alone. So we need the frequency, we need the energy, we need to get into our light bodies. So that's why I've got to do this. Doesn't matter whether you understand it or not. It's just work with your light body. Just sing yourself into being. Sing your rainbow. Kali Yuga, which is the withdrawal from sight, which is this really dense age that we've been in. In our present era, the heavenly cities still exist, but beyond the human sensory field. The Puranas say they retreated to subtler dimensions when collective consciousness descended, not destroyed but veiled. Thus the arrival was long ago, but their withdrawal came as a mercy to protect the sacred until humankind again lives in harmony. So we have the four, and now we're moving into this new, which is the arrival of. But we moved through that. We're trying to move through even that arrival of Kalki, who is the warrior with his sword of truth, which is the arrival of Jesus in his spaceships, or whatever. It'll come, but it's not coming right now because we have to bring it in. So I really do need to go. My dog is dancing a mad dance over there, and I'm going to leave us there. Oh, Peel, oh. Yeah. Yeah, it's a similar thing. Yeah. I try to stay away from that Ezekiel stuff because it's been so twisted. And yeah, I've been there, but I'm like, if I want to find anything for me, I go back to my baby here, to my beautiful boy. So I'm going to leave us just with this. So all of this, so for me, is just, if I have anything out of all of this, is just to, for now, I will be on again tomorrow with something, I'm not sure, is work with our beautiful light bodies, guys. That's what all we got to do. But I will leave my biggest inspiration and what holds me together. You can see a lot. It holds me together. Where is he? Where's he hiding? Where's he hiding? Come up to my love. Where are you hiding? Yeah, you can see I've been working on this for quite a long time here. Where's my love? Where's my love? Oh, he's not coming out to play. There he is. There it is. Okay. So I leave you with this beautiful image for now. My dog is going to be on the floor, which he doesn't want to do. We're going to go now, my bunny. So I love, 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 love us all. And I will, by God's grace, see you soon. Yeah, it's long. Sorry about it. Sorry about it being so long. But yeah, doesn't really matter. You got what you got, and I'll see what comes up tomorrow. So enjoy the stars. It's a big portal coming up. Remember, we had like collection of souls. It was the orb card. It's been a mammoth session. So love you all, beautiful ones, and we will see you. And don't forget, so much love and stars and bubbles pouring in from PG. Thank you for everything you do.